the attendance is out. And it is 2:31 and the sun came out and it's above 62 degrees, so we're going to get this party started. So please take attendance on the electronic form. If you are a voting senator and you did not receive an attendance via electronically, please let us know so that we can adjust the list. If you are a non-voting senator, we always ask that you sign in up front. This is our first meeting for the 2023-2024 academic year, so I'm just going to go through a few procedures that most of us in here know. Anytime you want to participate in the meeting, you have to obviously be recognized by the chair, but you have to speak into the microphone. So it doesn't matter if you can project, because I can project all day long as well, but the stream won't pick it up. So it's not for us in the room, it is for those watching at home and for the YouTube stream. So if you're in the back, you just have to walk up to one of the two mics in the back. If you're in these seats, hit the button till the green light comes on, and then you're good to go. A couple other little things meeting-wise that we're going to adjust. At the end of each meeting, we do a portion of the meeting called For the Good of the Order. We are going to continue to do For the Good of the Order. However, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask for an adjournment of the meeting, and we're going to cut the YouTube stream and kind of hold it more as a town hall for non-essential college business. Because really that's what that part of that meeting is. It's questions and concerns that are not a part of official college business where we can problem solve as a team, because all the players in the college are in this room, right? So what we'll do moving forward is we're going to cut the stream and then do a town hall portion, 10, 15 minutes or so at the end, and that'll be the For the Good of the Order portion of the meeting. So I'm not cutting it out. We're just going to not have it part of the stream and part of the official meeting portion. And so with that, welcome to June, our first meeting of the 2023-24 academic year. And we're going to take care of some business to get us ready to rock and roll for the fall semester, but many of you were already here for a full day of learning and networking. I want to thank, there she is. I saw her up here and I was talking to her. She's in the back. Dr. Marianne Partee put on an amazing summer institute, and just thank you so much. It was wonderful. It was everything that we had wanted it to be. It worked with what our administrative team was working with the 4 pillars. And you'll see on both sides of the room, there are the boards with the 4 pillars, which are student success, diversity, equity, and belonging, economic development, and upward mobility for students, and then institutional sustainability. So they're on both sides of the room, and one of the activities that we had done earlier was if you had any ideas that should be part of any of those 4 pillars, there are Post-it notes for you to handwrite them and stick them right on the board. So we brought them down here as well in case maybe you were walking around and mulling around some ideas and might have thought of something. There's Post-its underneath all of them as well. So feel free at the end of the meeting if you want to put some ideas down and stick them on the boards. Those are there. But we had some great sessions today. We had some on ChatGPT, general education, the new diversity, equity, inclusion requirement, LGBTQ+, hula hooping. I did not do hula hooping, and I wanted to, but I had to get a coffee. We did a book discussion with Adam Grant's book, which we discussed a couple of years ago, Think Again, chapter 10, which is on learning cultures. So all very important sessions today that linked directly to these 4 pillars. And I just want to say thank you so much to Mary Ann's team and all of the presenters that presented today, and it's going to set us off for some important work that has to be done over the summer and set us up for the fall semester. So thank you very much. Also, lunch was amazing. Not a sandwich, right? It was from Manor Restaurant from Northland, and so there was so much feedback, and thank you for that, because no one wanted a sandwich, and we not only not got a sandwich, we had a variety of salads that were fantastic and delicious, and lemonade that was perfect. So again, thank you to that team, and thanks to everyone who was here today and part of that day, and thank you for coming to the first College Senate meeting of the next academic year. With that, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to welcome Colleen Augst, who is our new vice chair. Sorry, I wrote you down here and I skipped you. Colleen Onks is our new vice chair. Erica Hendra is here as support on the sidelines, just in case. And then we also have Michael Delaney attending virtually. Hello, Michael. As his last meeting as the official College Senate parliamentarian. He texts me usually after I need the help. So with that, Michael would like to tell everyone that we do need an actual in-person parliamentarian, and he would be more than happy to help train you over the summer to be the parliamentarian. And that's also a portion of what we're going to talk about today during new business as well. So maybe that might get you interested in taking on that job. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our officer in charge, Dr. Adiam Sagai.
Good afternoon. So how was the session this morning and this afternoon? Was it good? And I did get some lunch too. That was awesome, right? One of the things I wanted to remind us, and I'm not sure I mentioned this, is that part of the Level Up initiative by legislator April Bassett is to really support minority women-owned businesses that are going to be part of the stadium initiative, and Manna is one of the restaurants that's going to be part of that initiative. And I know our business team and others are going to be working on that. We are the institution that the legislature and team picked up as a partner for that. So that's a great part of where the college is going to participate. And we're going to meet with them, I believe, on the 22nd of June to talk about how we're going to start that training with the Level Up program. Okay. Just a little bit feedback from this morning. So what were your thoughts? How did it go as it relates to the 4 pillars that Colleen mentioned? What do you think of this morning?
I thought it was great.
That was great. Okay, great is good, but you know, as a teacher, and I do teach, I need some feedback. Great is good, but what does that mean? It has to have some meaning. So what was some of the takeaway from this morning or this afternoon? Yes, Sabrina.
I think we need a lot more follow-up on the AI issue. We had a really engaging discussion, but it's clear we only touched the tip of the iceberg. That's
right. It's the beginning, right? But it's starting a good conversation. What else? Come on. I know a lot of you were at this the meeting this morning and this afternoon. What else? Lauren, what do you think? You're looking at me, so.
You got to go to the mic.
Sorry, Lauren.
It doesn't matter.
So while Lauren is making her way to that, I'm going to get somebody else. I need a volunteer. If not, Jason, great.
Both of the unit reviews were really impressive, so great work to both of those departments.
Awesome. What was the 2 unit?
Auto Tech and the EAL.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Lauren?
This was my actual first summer institute, so I did very much enjoy this morning. I learned quite a bit. I'm going to echo what Sabrina Kane said, because actually after that workshop, I went back to my office and I started feverishly looking and researching, and it's going to be a big concern for our program, especially for nursing for a highly competitive health science. So for me, I learned a lot with that, and I'm excited to bring that to our faculty and to Dr. Lucido, because that's going to be a really big concern for us. But overall, very good information, learned a lot, and excited for the new year. So
thank you. Thank you. And this is a great platform, right? We're starting the fall now. I didn't even realize that until Colleen said, boy, what a way to start early. Who else? What else from this morning, this afternoon? Derek?
I appreciated there's enough space in the schedule I could sit and study these, the 4 boards, and think about it and then make comments. Usually there's no time to do that.
That's right, right? We need time to process. We get a lot of information, but we need time to process, right? And that's why it was really sort of lax, right? That was done purposely by the team to allow for some reflection. What else? What else was it? Thank you.
I have a lot of hope for the future with all the people that showed up today and really want to make an impact on our community and where we're going from here.
Absolutely. That's great, right? One of the things I mentioned this morning was that how, yes, customer service, yes, our students are important, our community is important, but equally, if not more, who else is important? Who? That's right, absolutely, right? We cannot function an institution without us, right? We need to make sure that we're constantly reminded that we need to invest in our faculty and staff. We need to take the time to do that and to do that work. We have to have the time to do that and allocate that time. And that's one of the things I mentioned to you this morning, that I am dedicated in making sure that we have time dedicated to professional development. You can say something.
Yes, I think the 1 o'clock hour was most beneficial to me with Aaron Garman and Jenny from SAC. How we can connect to our students by just asking them questions differently, thoughtfully, and I think Aaron was talking about the PCP students, the parking lot classroom and parking lot. That was pretty neat. That's where they go, parking lot class and parking lot. So if we can connect to them both inside the classroom and outside, not just face-to-face, but email, I think that's super important to keep them and retain them for student success.
Absolutely, and you kind of set that up for me. Thank you so much, right? It's all about student engagement. And what does that look like? And are we ready? Are we a student-ready college? That's a question. Are we a student-ready college? Yes. We're getting there, right? Because part of it is reflecting. What does that mean, right? What does student engagement mean, both in and outside the classroom? And it varies for all of us, right? But really to start to talk about that student engagement. And when we talk about persistent and retention, what does that mean? That's one of the things that as a college we have to define, right? We talk about enrollment, and I'm going to put Eric on the spot here. Eric, let's talk about an update. What is our enrollment to date? New students, not Eric, but I need an answer. How many new students do we have, first-time new students to the college for fall 2023? And I swear next time I'm going to bring candy to give you for the right answer. How many new students?
I was going to say NL will allow Price is Right rules.
Come on, you can guess. How many new students do we have for fall? No one is willing to guess?
Right.
Yes.
2,600.
How many?
2,600?
Just new students?
Oh, no.
I love you. That's where we want to be. One more, lower. 500? 300? Okay, one more. Yes. 1,000. Oh, my God. We need more of you. I love the thousands. Eric, where do we stand?
417 first-time students.
Close,
and
right?
105 transfer students.
That's just right now. But what is our goal? New, and I'm talking about new students. Notice I'm isolating brand new students to the college. What's our goal? What's our targeted goal? Eric?
2,300.
Right? Brand new students to the college. Now let's talk about our continued students. These are students that were registered with us last semester that came back to the college, meaning they fully register as of today. How many students? And remember, that report was out yesterday, right? If you don't read anything for the college, I want you to really pay attention to that enrollment communication that comes out, because it matters. Without our students, none of us will be here. And data matters. So how many continued students do we have registered to date? 1,500. Derek?
2,200.
Okay. One more? 1994. That's what happened in 1994. I graduated from college, from ECC actually. Who said that? How did you know? Eric? Yes.
It was on Friday morning. It was 1994. As of yesterday, it's 2018, and our goal is to get to 4,500.
So where are you totally with new students and continued students and transfer total as of today?
Uh, 2,540.
Okay. That's not enough, right? Remember the days we were at 12,000? We got a long way to go. We're doing the work, but we got a lot of work to do. particularly as it relates to our continued students. Our new students I mentioned, there's a lot of initiative from SUNY to help really move that needle, right? So every high school student in Western New York got a letter, a personalized letter from the chancellor, Dr. King, indicating that they have been accepted to go to a community college, SUNY Erie, right? They're specific for, program like nursing and others that they have to adhere to, but every student is accepted. So our door is open. Remember, we are open door college, right? So we're getting a lot of support from that. But our continued students, how do we ensure that our continued students register and come back for fall? Right? We didn't have all of them register, right? So we have a lot of students that's out there that have not registered. And so it matters. It's not just about us bringing new students, but it's also keeping. And what do we need to do? Really reassess and assess over and over again how we engage our students. That's both in and outside the classroom. What does that look like? So the question that I asked about, are we college, student-ready college? What does that mean to each one of us? And I'm going to ask this question later because that's an important question. What do we look like, right, to make sure that our students choose us to come back the following semester? Now, I understand there's a lot of social issues that our students are facing and dealing with. So that could be a factor to some degree why the students are not back. However, there's also other factors perhaps that we could control to allow to make sure that our students come back and continue their education, right? Our graduation, 2023, was awesome. How many of us were able to attend graduation, right? The energy was awesome. Yes, we have an opportunity to do better and always, right? But clearly the team, led by Dan and others, did an awesome job to have a graduation, right? And in order for us to get to that point of graduation, they need to come back. And how do we do that to ensure that all of our students? So one of the things that we need to talk about what persistence and retention mean to us, and what do we need to do by division. So we're going to be meeting by division to make sure that programmatically that the departments are meeting their goal. Right? So I want us to think about that. And I know one of the things that Eric with Adrian has been sending by program, registration update and retention update. So all of you within each of the division, right, the business and public health and health and in liberal art, have that data to really reflect on what is going on with our students, how come they didn't come back. And so we need to do that work to make sure that the fall semester that we meet our goal with our new students, our continued students. So that is going to be the thing that we're going to do. So we have a couple events that we're doing. Eric, what are some of those events?
So the one that's coming up soonest will be at Juneteenth over this weekend. And in the end of the month, we actually are going to be hosting at our city campus the Say Yes College Kickoff, which is going to be a great opportunity to serve, especially within our Buffalo Public Schools. And then I'll give the announcement in just a minute, but we do have our Chair Day, Chair Advisement Day that's happening then in middle of July as well, which is our first major kickoff with registration. But certainly registration is open right now and encouraged sooner than better.
Absolutely, thank you. The other thing I want to give us an opportunity to talk about our campuses. So one of the things, as you see, we're doing a lot of capital project that's both here at North, at City, as well as at South. So I'm going to have Paul just kind of give an update at each of the campuses where we are right now. Paul?
I'll start with South Campus. There's not really a capital project going on there currently, but the Bills have started their demo and are well underway. They are tentatively planning their initial blast test next Wednesday, but we'll send out a staff all message. They indicated to us when we met with them last week that they felt it would be pretty minimal, that it wouldn't be that loud. You might feel a little rumble, you might hear a little rumble, but that it wasn't going to be something that's going to jar anybody out of their seats. But again, that's what they say. And we will update when that's going to occur. Once that test is done, they plan on doing it 3 times a week through the end of September. They're looking at probably later in the afternoon, but again, that is still to be determined. City campus is moving along well. We meet with them every Wednesday. They anticipate having the majority of their work done, and we plan on having the building open beginning of August. The date to be determined, but beginning of August. We work with them closely as they turn over a classroom. We start prepping it, getting chairs, desks back in there. IT, we're working closely with IT so they can get their setup done. There may be a few rooms that aren't quite ready. That would be 460, 360, and 260, but we anticipate all those to be ready by the end of August. The North Campus, there's all kinds of work going on here. The windows and doors, they haven't started the doors yet in Spring Center. They're moving along. They actually are getting a little bit ahead of schedule, which is kind of good because we would really like them to be gone at the beginning of the fall semester. The ADA project, which started about 2 years ago, is wrapping up. The ramp over at Dry, they still have to put in the permanent railings. We talked about the ramp at S this morning, and they hope to have the permanent railing installed in the next 2 weeks. And there's still a lot of work to be done. We have mechanical starting next year. We have windows and doors and G starting, or actually Dry starting next year. Gleasner to follow. There's a lot of work coming.
What are we doing in cafeteria in the north?
The cafeteria is, I'd have to double check on that. Okay. But that's part of one of the coming projects. I'm not sure if it's next year or the following year.
Okay. Any
questions?
Okay, great. And lastly, Colleen, reading terms of student fair and orientation.
So we are having an in-person orientation at each of the campuses this summer. In fact, I'm working with Craig and Jerome right now. Everybody will be getting a formal invite and information about it this week, it should be. But we've already started inviting the new students. So we've got, so far, North has 88 coming. City has 93 and South has 27. At North and City, that's about 58 students plus their guests. At South, it's around almost 20 students. So, we just got this rolling. So you'll get information, but let me tell you that the dates are August 22nd at South, August 23rd at North, and August 24th at City. And it's going to be lively and exciting, and we're going to have a student panel. We're going to have a guest speaker. If any of you know Adri, the Go-Getter, she's on WBLK. She's going to do a guest speaking for our new students. We're going to have a parent panel. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have lots of information, lots of activity, really exciting, and just so that when our students leave, they're going to be so happy they made the decision to come to Erie Community College. They're going to be excited to start in a couple weeks after those dates, and really just looking forward to it. And if I may give you an anecdote, I met with a community leader the other day, and his son attends here and started last year, and he said, and his daughter attends another college, and his son was so disappointed that he didn't have an in-person experience at orientation. So I said, well, he can come to this one if he wants. And we know we had COVID and all kinds of reasons for that, but it's coming back, and yeah, that's more to come, more information to come.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? I'm good. Thank you.
Right. Great, thank you. Looks like we knocked out half the agenda already in that update, so lucky us. All right, approval of the minutes from the May 2023 College Senate meeting. I'd like to take a motion to approve. Jackie Bossman, second. Tom Webb. Any objections? Okay, the motion passes by consent. We're going to move to old business, and I'm going to call on Michael Rio for governance.
Hi, governance has 2 voting items for this meeting. We're making recommendations for appointments to fill vacant seats. Those can be voted on as a block. We just need a final approval from the body of the Senate. I can read the list. It was up a second ago, but
I got it.
Oh.
We can read it anyway.
So we have Alyssa Pauley, Jessica Hoppe, Rosa Gonzalez, Colleen Ongst, and Marie Owens. We're just reappointing for one-year appointments that are expiring. We reached out to divisions and did not have representation, so we want to fill those empty seats. We're also looking to fill these vacant seats.
Don't do that vote yet.
Oh.
Ignore that email. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Okay.
It's fine.
Moving forward with the vote?
We'll redo it. The vote for the bylaw changes went out.
I don't ever check email, so that doesn't really
That's
affect
all right.
me.
You did it out of order, Michael. It's fine. You're allowed to. It's fine.
I'll introduce the other voting item as well. I mean, is
well,
that going
let's
to
do-
time out? If
No,
it's counted down, I could do this in 15 seconds.
We'll do this.
Okay.
We'll do the people. Did we read them all?
Yeah, I think so. If
All
there are
right.
any questions, or if we missed anybody, or if you know somebody in Technology South, department head, or part-time teaching that you'd like to recommend, please send that to Senate Governance, and we'll get those seats filled in the spring or in the fall or whichever semester comes next.
Great. And remember, with the department head, it could be any department head or faculty department chair. We changed that earlier in the semester so that we could have representation. Michael, would you like to make a motion to approve the recommended appointments?
I do.
Second? Tom, thank you. Any objections? All right, so those are going to be accepted by consent.
All right, and thank you, and welcome back, everyone, on that, in those positions. All right, so the first voting item is the bylaws that already went out. So we introduced bylaws changes at the last meeting. We are asking for a vote this meeting to review. There were lots of sort of grammatical type clarity of language changes that were made in green. The only changes that reflect a change in how the bylaws are applied to reflect either best practice or current practice to update our bylaws appear in yellow. And at the executive committee meeting, we were asked to clarify the definition of faculty for the purposes of officer positions, and that appears in red, which I'll be introducing at this meeting as a friendly amendment. We can vote on everything at once, or we can break things apart and see where our discussion takes us. Questions or comment? Well, I'm introducing this as a voting item, so.
So we're going to need a motion to accept the bylaw changes. Jackie Bollinger, thank you. Second, Sabrina Kane. All right, so the matter is up for discussion. I'm going to scroll to where the friendly amendment in red is. Turn your phone off. Geez, where is it?
Page 18.
There it is. So the only change that's part of the friendly amendment is the addition of the word FFECC member to make sure that it is codified that the librarian or faculty member are in fact FFECC members.
Correct.
Are there any objections to this friendly amendment on the bylaw change? All right, we're going to do it all together then. Comments, concerns, questions? Do we want to resend? Yeah, we'll resend the vote for the bylaw, proposed bylaw changes. I don't know. Yeah. Can you get in? Can you get in? Did it expire?
It says create my own form.
Oh, mine's good.
Okay, I'm not resending, it'll be confusing.
All right, so then you should have it. It's yellow. It's in a new email. All right, there are no noes and no abstentions. The motion passes, so the bylaw changes will now go into effect. So thank you very much to our governance committee and all the hard work that they worked on, again, with our FFECC executive committee as well, to make sure that we're doing everything correct by the contract as well. All right, Kathy Calesto is not here for Middle States.
Just a brief update on that. Tomorrow, we're going to have a visit from Middle State just to make sure. Remember when we did our Middle State review, it was virtual. And so one of the things they requested is that they have someone to visit our campuses to make sure that we have a campus. So they are coming tomorrow, and Kathy is scoring them on that process.
Great, thank you. Erickson, do you have anything to add for the Strategic Enrollment Management Office at all? Yep, microphone.
The update, I sent out an email this morning to each of the department chairs to give an update that for the July Chair Advisement Day, per the contract is scheduled on a certain day in July. Per the request of some of the faculty members and department heads, was to have that spread out over 3 days. So one for each of the campuses. So we worked with FFECC leadership. That MOU is signed. So that'll allow us then to have July 18th at City Campus, July 19th at North Campus, and July 20th at the South Campus. So one day then allowing then for more students to be able then to come in and be advised and get registered for the fall semester. The other update, the department chairs also do receive each week an updated list of 3 different categories. So we're still in summer. There's a great opportunity to register students for summer 2 that starts on July 5th. So there's an updated list of students that have been admitted but not yet registered for summer. We also have a list of students that were quote-unquote first-year students this last fall 2022 and spring of 2023 that were here in spring of 2023. This is a great way to look at the current opportunity for retention of our students. And as of last week, there were still over 1,400 students that were able to be registered from that list. And then we also have the number of students that have been admitted that are new for the fall 23 semester. And we're talking over 2,000 students that are still in that category that can be registered. So I say all that because there is a remarkable opportunity that each of us can take as one college to really make an impact in each of our departments in terms of that registration and enrollment period that we're in.
Awesome, thank you very much. Anyone have any questions for Erickson? All right, moving right along. Dr. Sabrina Kane, the Academic Assessment Committee.
There we go. Okay, the item of business is basically the committee was recognized now as a committee under the Senate, and so we need to approve the membership of the committee. The people that are listed there are the people who have basically been serving in that role all along before the committee became under the Senate. So we just would like the Senate's approval of those members.
All right. Sabrina, would you like to make a motion to approve the membership?
I make a motion.
Okay, second. Derek, thank you. Any questions or comments? Any objections? All right, so the membership is going to be approved by consent. I want to point out that there are 3 positions open, one for a representative from Academic Affairs, 1 librarian, and 1 social science. So if those are your areas, or you know someone that would be willing to serve in those 3 spots, please reach out to me or Sabrina, and we'll get you hooked up on that committee. All right, Dave Uzinski has a 7.5-week course update.
Thank you. Wow, it doesn't want a slideshow.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, well, just do the slide. Oh, there we go. So these were the courses offered during the last academic year. And so we had fall 22 and spring 23. Some of the courses were offered both first half and second half. Some were just offered first half. Most were just offered second half. Next, please. And so I did an evaluation of, how the students actually performed in those classes. So you can see that our numbers in the spring were almost double what we had in the fall in terms of the seats in those courses. And I put the full-time, what the full there is, those are the full semester course seats. And so you can see that in the spring semester, we're starting to make a dent into the overall seats. If you're looking at passing percent, so the fall semester was very good. The spring semester, not so good. It's 58%. And if we look at the average grade, that could be, you could see that reflected in the average grades that were received in those courses. In the fall semester, you had 2.61 average GPA, but in the spring semester, that dropped to a 2. So speculation could be that maybe in the fall semester, the students that took those courses were they were more selective, that they were the ones picking it, while as in the spring semester, maybe some of them fell into those courses inadvertently by picking them on the schedule. You can see that for the full semester courses, the average grade in the class stayed pretty stable for fall and spring. Next, please. So here's what we have so far for the upcoming semester, the fall 23. First half courses again, and then the second half, we've had AT 280, the art class, I think is a new one, was 281 was the last one, and another new class was the math 125. One of the updates that we did do to the schedule that I did talk about was how to help students and advisors and everyone identify the courses when they're listed in the schedule. And so I just took a snapshot of, I'm advertising the 125 class, by the way. You can see that there's actually parentheses there with the dates that the course meets. So when the student looks at their schedule, that shows up in their course schedule that way. And maybe they would ask why that class has date meeting times while the other ones don't even have that. So hopefully they would recognize that they're in those courses. But in addition to this, I will start emailing every couple weeks this cohort of students who have selected half semester courses just to ensure that they know they've signed up for them. So future considerations, again, it's not too late to add some courses for the fall semester if you're thinking of doing a sequence or if you want a first half or second half course. Also, maybe we could try this, it might be aggressive, I don't know. For the spring 24 semester, maybe you try a couple seated options, particularly for seated sections, because these are just online. So maybe there's an opportunity to offer an EN 100 that's seated that maybe meets like a regular schedule, a hybrid, and the other half would be taught again, in the same room at the same time, so that there wouldn't be any conflict, such as an EN 101 or 102. Same thing maybe for the economics courses. So, or it could just be a standalone. If someone wants to try a standalone seated in one of those semesters, that's a little bit difficult because if they have an existing schedule, you'd have to work around, you know, what their schedule is. So if you have any ideas, you know how to contact me. Remember, our schedule hits, you know, in September is when our spring schedule starts getting developed and chosen. So if you have ideas, it does happen pretty quickly in the fall semester for the following spring semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone questions for Dave? Awesome. Thank you for all your hard work on that, Dave. Let's see if I can get out of. All right, we already took care of facilities. Any other old business that I'm forgetting? All right, moving on to new business. So we sat down with a calendar to pick the dates for the 23-24 academic year. There are no conflicts with breaks like spring break or February break or anything like that, so we can continue with the second Tuesday of every month. The one thing on here that we can kind of talk about is May 14th, the May College Senate meeting. That is also the last day of the semester, and grades are due the 20th. So I don't know if we want to leave it at the 14th, but then that would push the meeting to the 21st, or leave it at the 14th, the last day of instruction, and just keep it with that every second Tuesday. But just wanted to make a note of that. All right, so I'm going to make you guys vote on it because every year someone complains in like November, and then I can say, you all voted on it. I don't want to hear it. So I'm going to take a motion to approve the meetings. Jackie Bollinger, second. Amy Yoder, thank you. All right, any questions, comments, any objections? All right, that's it. The date's passed by consent. We're married to them now. I don't want to hear about it in November when something changes, okay? You've all voted on it. All right. All right, so you all got two documents, hopefully, at the beginning of the meeting. There's a single page, and then there's, I don't know, a stapled pages. If you're looking at me like, what? Does anyone need them? All right, so the two handouts are Robert's Rules of Order. So again, with the idea that we are going to be kind of prepping for the next academic year. Did more people on this side need them? Yeah, Mary, you want to just, there's some over there. All right, raise your hand. Mary will pass them over. Is that we review a little bit of the Robert's Rules of Order. I'm not going to go through this entire thing. This has some very specific motions and main motions, incidental motions, things like that. But I did want to talk about this one today. There's going to be a quiz at the end, or you're not allowed to leave. I had ChatGPT write it for me. I'm kidding, I did not do that. I'm not going to do that. All right, so general rules to keep in mind. Obviously, in order to speak, you must be recognized by the chairperson, which is me in this instance. You do not need to stand. We don't stand here, but raise our hands, and we use the microphones. We have not in the past had people state their names and department that we represent, but I'm thinking that that's going to be in addition moving forward for the fall semester, because not everyone, I mean, we all, I think, have a pretty good idea of who's in the room, but I'm talking about people watching the stream, they might not know who everybody is. So saying your area and your name could be helpful. Let's see. Motions, we have to have motions seconded before we can start discussing, having questions and things like that. And in general, we try to take one side and then the other and kind of have a back and forth. And then if you feel that there's a discussion, we haven't really had anything like that this semester where one side presents more of their side than the other. You can make a point of order to make sure that we're following that a little bit more. So some scenarios, I want to change the wording of a motion, right? And we've done that a few times, and that's when we make an amendment. And so in that case, if we're going to change the wording, we make an amendment, we vote on the amendment right then and there before we can go back to discussing the original motion. I want to end the discussion and have a vote, all right? So I call to question is general, or I move the previous question. So it's not debatable, goes right to a vote, 2/3. Time limits, or if you think something is out of order, you can speak up, right? And if you think something's taking like much longer than it needs to, for example, you can speak up and raise your hand and say point of order, and then the current speaker sits down, and then you state the rule being violated. So if there's like a timing thing or anything else. I think the discussion should continue, but I don't want it to go on all day. All right, been there. So you can now move to limit the debate. Like, so it could be specific. I would like to limit the debate to 5 minutes or whatever it is. All right, whatever you're feeling that day. And then we have to obviously vote on it, and it's got to pass. We did have this happen earlier this semester. So we had a motion that required a little bit more attention and investigation, and so we moved to refer to a specific committee, that specific committee being FFECC Executive Committee. So that's another option. You made a motion. I like the way this is worded, and I've reconsidered the wisdom of that motion, so oops, right? How do we undo that? So you can ask permission to withdraw. And then if there's no objections, we don't even have to vote. If everyone's like, yeah, that was a terrible idea, is what they were saying in our heads, right? Then we just say, okay, it's withdrawn. I have a question for the maker of the motion, right? So point of information. And one thing that we do, but we need to try to move away from, so let's say Derek has a question and he wants a point of information. He has to direct it to me, and then I direct it to whoever it is out there, right? So what we do a lot is we do back and forth between people in the audience, right? Which has been okay. We haven't really lost control. Me and the frog in my pocket. I haven't lost control of the meeting yet because we haven't really had anything highly debatable occur, but we are in violation of Robert's Rules of Order. So if there is a point of information, it should be directed at me, and then I call on whoever, and then if we want to respond, that's when we go into that volley back and forth where the chair recognizes the different speakers as we pursue the discussion. And then I'd like this one too. I have no idea what is going on. Right, because we've done that. We zone out. Or, my kid's calling me nonstop, or Kylie's kids calling her. Our kids we have like 7, I think, between us. So, like, what just happened? I have a parliamentary inquiry. We're like, what's going on, right? So then we stop, we take a breath, and explain what's happening, and then go there. But also it's, I feel a good time, because sometimes we don't know what's happening, right? Like, I have no idea. It sounds really important, and I think we're going to have to vote on it, but I don't know what we're voting on, and I'm not sure what we're talking about. And then that gives us a minute to take a second, let everybody, back in on what's happening in the meeting, and then we can continue discussion from there. So these were some of the basic ones. Michael Delaney, thank you again. He developed these through the Faculty Council of Community Colleges, and there were really great references. This is a little bit more specific. A lot of the specific things and the sections and the pages on where or not pages anymore, because it depends, I guess, on which version of the book you buy, but it's got the sections with different things. And then this singular sheet is the last sheet of the stapled packet, in case you're like me and the single sheet's going to end up in the back seat of your car and then get lost forever. So it's also part of the stapled sheet. That is my review of Robert's Rules of Order. Are there any things that have happened in meetings that you're like, I don't think she talked about that, like that you might have questions on? Why is my phone blowing up? Just make sure it's not Michael telling me I'm messing it up. I'm not. I'm doing well. All right. All right. So with this, we're going to do what I suggested at the beginning, and I'm going to take a motion to adjourn the meeting, and then we'll move into like a town hall portion of the meeting to discuss any concerns or any questions that anyone may have that's not a part of the regular business of the College Senate. So can I take, who would like to make a motion to adjourn? Amy, thank you. Second? Tom. Perfect. All right, the meeting is adjourned. So at this point, just give me a second. We're going to make sure the stream is off.